everyone, my name is Cash and I'm a product manager here at Evolv. I'm going to take you through a demo today of the latest version of our tool. I'll start by demonstrating a basic ABN workflow, and then I'll show how some of the more powerful features of the Evolv platform can take your ability to optimize your customer experience to the next level. What's really effective about our system is that users are able to keep optimization projects alive for extended periods of time, iteratively adding and removing ideas as you learn and explore. This enables our users to continuously gain better results by building up a rich knowledge base. In addition, our machine learning algorithms are able to find hidden combinatorial effects between multiple experiments that would be hidden in a traditional workflow. So let me share my screen and show you all of that in action. This is the Evolv Manager. It's a web application that is used to launch and modify optimization projects, and also to see the results in reporting dashboards. I'm going to start off by creating a new project. You can think of a project as a user journey that you are trying to optimize. It can contain multiple pages along a funnel, like a landing page, product detail page, all the way through a checkout page if you want, or it can contain just one page. I'll give my project a name and a description. Today, I'm going to be optimizing the product detail page for a direct-to-consumer fashion retailer called Metropole. Their main goal for the year is to increase revenue, and the KPI that they are tracking to drive this goal is how many users click the Add to Cart button. So once I've created the project, I'm taken to this setup screen where I will configure the project for launch. First, I need to define the audience. Who will be exposed to the experiments in this project? Evolv includes an audience builder that enables fine-grained segmentation based on a variety of user attributes. But today, I'll keep it simple and I'll just select all visitors. So once the audience is defined, I move on to the optimization metric. I'm going to select the Click Add to Cart button because that's the KPI that the business wants to increase. At this point, I will also import the variables and variants that I intend to experiment on. Before I do that though, I want to mention that the Evolv Manager is a device-agnostic optimization platform. This means that we don't just optimize websites, we have a robust full-stack capability with SDKs that can be used to optimize server-side components like pricing engines, as well as mobile apps and more. But for the demo today, I'm going to show you a website optimization project because that's a fairly common use case. So now I'm going to switch over to our visual editor where I'll show you these variants that I'll be testing. This is the web editor. It's a desktop application that is used to actually code the changes to websites so that they can be experimented on. It has features similar to Chrome developer tools for inspecting the code running on the page, and you can write your own custom CSS and JavaScript right here as well in these panels to the right with autocomplete features. Developers love this tool because they can do all of their work right inside it without switching to other browsers or a separate code editor, so it's super efficient. Now, in thinking about running an experiment, fundamentally, you're hoping to prove a hypothesis that a specific change to a website will lead to a higher conversion rate on your optimization goal. Let's keep things simple to start with and say that we want to test whether changing the color for the Add to Cart button helps to drive conversions. You can see I've already set up this page with a few different color options with this button color variable up to the top left. We've got green, red, or blue. I've also added a few more variables which you'll see later. You can see that when I click on them, you can see that the page updates. So this makes QA really easy, so you can test what your ideas will look like within the application. So once those visual changes are set up in the web editor, they can be loaded into the manager. And now that I have this project set up with an audience, optimization metric, and a set of changes to experiment on, I move it to review so that other stakeholders in my organization can check it for accuracy and completeness. The system has several different roles with different permissions to enable low-risk collaboration between those accountable for a project and those implementing it. It also supports protected environments for another dimension of fine-grained control over exactly what your customers are exposed to. So once that's been reviewed, I can move the project to live in order to actually launch it. Now I'm going to skip forward in time a little bit until after the experiment has received some traffic so that we can have some data to analyze. The first thing you'll notice at the top of the results page is a graph showing the overall uplift for this project, along with the summary of the bottom line. You can also see the daily visitors and conversions for each day over the last few days. These high-level dashboards are a super effective way to communicate about the success of your optimization project to other people in your organization. Let's dive in and look at the individual variants in this experiment to better understand what's driving performance. This graph shows each variant and how they are performing, as well as the likelihood that visitors will see it. You can see that this particular variant, headband fixed, is beating control and driving uplift more than others. And the fact that it's solid green means that it has received enough traffic to reach statistical significance. So we know it's not likely to be a fluke. By expanding these other variants, you can see specifically that this 24 pixel spacing option is outperforming the 32 pixel spacing. So if this were a traditional ABN test, I would end the experiment now, and I would take the results and go implement those changes in my website. But as you know, it can be a long time until your development team finally gets around to making that change that you put on the backlog. So in the meantime, instead of ending the experiment entirely, we can leave it running and simply disable the poorly performing variants so that visitors will only see the variant that we have already proven to be the most impactful. Let me show you how to do that. First, I go back to draft mode and I open the variables tab on the left. Then I select the variable in question, in this case, tighter headband, which brings up this panel to the right, and I disable all of the variants except for the highest performing one, which was that 24 pixel spacing option. Then I'll publish these changes to my production environment. At this point, that change is locked in and all traffic is seeing that variant, which we've proven is the highest performer. I'll note that after your developers get around to implementing the changes on the real page, you can also disable this experiment entirely through a similar workflow. But what's special about the way Evolv does this is that the data that I've collected during that ABN test is maintained against the project so that I understand where I've experimented and what impact it's had over time. So you see, I was able to lock in the uplift from the highest performing variant without ending the project. This highlights one of the really exciting differentiating features of Evolv. A project in Evolv is different from a traditional ABN test in that projects are long-lived, so that you're able to add and remove ideas to them over time, learning as you go and continuing to improve your customer experience by leveraging that knowledge. So let's imagine that while that particular experiment was running, I had gone back to my funnel and done a deeper heuristic analysis, which resulted in coming up with several more hypotheses that I wanted to test beyond button color. Here you can see them in the web editor to the left, several more variables. So now I'll jump ahead in time once again until after those new variables have been loaded into the project and run long enough to gather some data. Now you will see the power of Evolv as a multivariate testing tool that goes way beyond traditional ABN methodology. What I want to drive home here is that the underlying system actually works by using sophisticated statistical modeling and artificial intelligence to validate all of these variants, not only in isolation, but also in combination with other active and high-performing variants. This gives us the opportunity to have actually validated which combinations are truly the best performers. This information is what our AI algorithms train on in order to drive faster towards the true best performing customer experience. And I'll show you how that works. So rather than looking at the individual variants this time, I'll show you the combination page. I'm showing you now the second highest performing combination of variants. And you can see when I scroll down that it includes 3 very highly performing variants, including in particular this one called headband fixed. If you were evaluating each of these variants as separate experience, as in a traditional ABN methodology, then you would have likely and naively combined those 3 variants into a single combination in what you thought would deliver the best customer experience. However, that would have been a mistake, and I'll show you why. Now I'm showing you the highest performing combination rather than the second highest. You can see here that it does not include that headband fixed variant, which considered alone would seem like a variant that performs so highly that it should be included in any combination that you wanted to show customers. So in this case, the AI was able to find that subtle interaction for you, where the highest performing combination is not necessarily the combination that includes the individually highest performing variants. So what's really interesting here is that we're not brute forcing these permutations to try every single possible option. That would use up traffic on bad ideas and take too long. Instead, we use machine learning to analyze past data and make predictive guesses at the best combinations of variants to deliver the best experiences over time. Now, a note on ending projects. This project is optimizing the primary checkout flow for the entire MetroPulse site. So the intended use of the system would be that you would leave this project running, adding and removing ideas from it and to it as you continue to improve your KPIs. But if you were using the system to optimize a landing page for a specific advertising campaign or something along those lines, then at any point you could stop the experiment and the project, take the winning combination, and present it as the optimal solution. The data will still be kept so you can learn from the solution and apply those learnings when setting up future landing pages and marketing campaigns. The other thing I'll mention is that we've shown some pretty simple experiments here with a small number of variables and variants. But Evolv is built for scale to manage large experiments with many variables. We have examples of projects running simultaneous tests on hundreds of variants and thousands of combinations. This kind of complexity would be impossible to manage without the help of our AI. That's all I have to show you today in terms of a demo of our latest platform, our latest product. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. Thanks.